Rolling on into the next fight, we've got our biggest stylistic mismatch of the night with Drakkar Klose coming in and fighting Joe Solecki. Both fighters with very impressive UFC records through their tenure. Drakkar Klose being 7-2 in the UFC now. Joe Solecki now 5-1. And as I said, this is as big stylistic mismatch as we've seen so far on this card and throughout this card, more than likely. Solecki, if you haven't seen him before, is one of the more dominant and elite MMA wrestlers and grapplers that we've seen. Now, not in some situations, he's very position over submission. But as far as MMA goes and being able to mix in his wrestling to his striking and being able to blend it and keep guys down, he's about as good as anyone. The issue is that on the feet, while he's improved and while it is now respectable, he's not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Drakkar Klose and be able to live to see the next day. Drakkar Klose is somebody that can work other guys. Whether he gets taken down in the first round, the second round, that third round, he's still going to come out firing. And that's what he did in his last fight to Rafa Garcia, where in that third round, he exhausted him. I mean, he just put his foot on the gas, stood on it, and then just kept going until Rafa just couldn't take anymore. Klose in his own right is a good offensive wrestler. He's not going to use it. And defensively, his grappling isn't good. That's where I think that this fight can get really interesting because he makes a lot of mistakes when he's trying to get up. He'll put all four on the mat. He'll give up his back way too often. Happened to Beneil Dariush, which happened to Lando Venata, and also happened against other opponents as well. He's good in the stand-up. His body kicks are good. He's got good dirty boxing. And he doesn't overextend himself. So there's a chance that he could be able to keep this fight at range, but his defensive grappling is very suspect to me, and I think that's where Solecki could have some success. But, Andy, how do you see it? Do you think Drakkar is going to be able to keep it on the feet?
That's where I am not able to fully grasp a betting angle on this one. I've said it before, and you know me, I tend to lean the guy who can get the fight to the ground when it comes to a clash of styles like this, especially if you're skilled in that world. I feel like Solecki is very skilled there, but I feel like Klose is able to at least kind of find his way. Where one of the things that I found myself continuing to reference is like his fight against Dariush, where he was able to at least last that full first round, where Dariush was a backpack on him and Klose weathered the storm and then ended up losing in round two. But he was able to, like, Dariush, who is much better than Solecki, in my opinion, especially in the grappling world, in the submission game. Drakkar Klose is able to outlast him, and that's what I found it to be so interesting, where I just know that Solecki is not going to be able to take the hits that Klose is going to be able to put on him. I also really worry about Solecki's gas tank. Solecki is more of a MMA grappling guy, not like a true jiu-jitsu artist, and he is a position over submission guy to a fault. So, like, that's the way you should do it, but, like, to a fault where he's, like, going to work and gain the position, but I don't think he works towards the submission enough to continue to improve the position, improve, and then get the sub. I just don't think that he does that enough. So the UFC level of competition for him is kind of lackluster in my opinion as well. I'm just not a huge Solecki guy, but I don't trust Klose to not let his guard down and let it slip, even though he has never been submitted, which is interesting. So I don't think Solecki would be the first one to submit him, but I do think that there is a world where Solecki just kind of rides him like a backpack and is able to win a really boring fight. And that's why I'm kind of staying away, even though from a pick standpoint, I'm going to pick Klose to win, but I can't put my hard-earned money on the guy, to be honest with you.
Josh, yeah, I'm going the other way, but I mean, I hear in all of the concerns that you make, I agree with. My frustration with Klose is that some of the mistakes that he makes in getting up and then giving up his back, but also in being held down. Not only does he make the mistakes trying to get up, but he can just get held down and sit down. And given, like you said, Solecki will just hold you down and stay on top of you. Drakkar Klose is no, like, prime finisher. He's got 5 knockouts. He's got 8 decision wins. So we could end up seeing a fight where Solecki for 2 of the 3 rounds just holds him down and he wins 29-28 in a pretty decisive, boring affair. But I also think that he could get the next. So I've got Solecki as a slight underdog, and the line's actually moving towards Solecki. Last week it was plus 120. 2 days ago it was plus 107. Yesterday it was plus 100. Now it's minus 105. So the money's coming in on Solecki here, and I think that we'll end up getting right at where it's at right now, which is a pick 'em fight. I think that's like it's hard to guess where this is. It's either going to be oil in the fact that Klose keeps on the feet, dominates, or Solecki gets on the ground and is able to dominate there. Doesn't feel like there's much in between.
Yeah, for sure. This is once again something that we love to watch is the classic striker versus the grappler, and it just depends who you give the edge because I think there's plenty of flaws in both these guys' games. So if you're looking to bet on it, best of luck. But I'm going with Klose. You're going with Solecki.
And I'm going with Solecki. I'm putting a half unit on him, and I'll take it.
Oh, okay. You're going with the bet on it too.
Yeah, I'll take a half unit on Solecki minus 105. I got it in at plus 107, but obviously I didn't tweet that out. So minus 105 for me for Solecki, half unit. Split again on the picks. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, I love going head to head with you. I think it's a lot of fun. So if you want to keep seeing us go head to head or side with each other, keep it locked in as we preview next. Cody Brundage taking on Zach Reese at middleweight. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Pilsners and Prelims, a UFC betting podcast by Happy Hour Sports. Just want to ask if you could like and subscribe to the video if you like the content that we're putting out, and be sure to stay tuned to what we have coming up in the future. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the other side.